Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cross's Corner. I'm Martin Cross, and in the corner today, I have the amazing Romanian scholar, Gianina van Groningen. Hi, Gianina.
Hi, Martin. So good to be here with you from
I'm
home.
very, I'm very excited to chat to you because I think the first time I came across you was in Sarasota in 2017, where I knew that you'd and Ilona had won the under 23s. And I couldn't believe. I think, did you have a lane on the grandstand side? Did you have that lane one or something?
Yeah, well, we had the fifth lane, I think, if I
Yeah,
remember right. Yeah, we weren't the favorites, but neither we didn't get we got into the semifinals. We came second in the semifinals, so we got the fifth lane. Yeah, in
yeah.
Sarasota.
Okay. So we'll talk a lot about that, but I think it will be good just to get a context. I know we've been talking just before we went on air of how your day's been and what you've been up to in the time since the European Championships.
Well, this week we're training from home, so not quite a time off, but still we can spend time with family because in Romania we celebrate Easter this weekend. So it's just spending time with family. Everybody's at home, not working that much, which is awesome. So I just do training in the morning and then some groceries, some time spent well with my family, helping, like cooking, not too much, just like a normal life. But we didn't have like a whole week off.
Yeah. So what was your training that you did this morning?
So this morning we had so usually when we're at home, we have one day on the bike and the next day on the rowing machine on the erg. So yesterday I had 2 times 45 minutes on the bike, and this morning we had 3 times 10 minutes. And the strokes, like the race was, the pace was 28-30 strokes per minute, which was like race simulations, but
Yeah.
yeah, a
Oh,
bit more intense. Yeah.
that's quite hard.
We usually we had 4 times 10 minutes, but when we're at home, it's like a bit of a more
Yeah.
uh, like less time. But still, yeah, it's quite intense. Well, it's less than 3 months until the Olympics, so
I know it's
it's
crazy.
like
Um,
yeah, straight
it's
line.
it's coming so quickly. Um, it must be lovely to have a bit of time this week, as you say, to be with your family, with your husband, and with your in-laws. Have you got any
Exactly,
other
yeah.
family close by?
Well, not really. I mean, now I live in Bucharest and I'm from the north of Romania, so basically my whole family is there. They live there. Um, but I have some cousins here, which I visited like a few days ago, and some friends. I have a lot of friends here, and we just spend time together, which is awesome because I don't get to see them that often
Mm.
because we used to stay a lot in the training centers, so it's quite hard to see them.
Yeah, and I saw on Instagram that you had a night out at the Romanian Film Awards or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, like we like to call them the Romanian Oscars, which basically this is what they are. Yeah, I got like an invitation the same day the event was, so I was yeah, okay, sure. I would like to change the blue carpet with a red one, the
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
carpet
yeah.
from the Europeans. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very good experience. I love other forms of art, not just sports. So every time I have time to enjoy and like support other people, I just go there. And I had time finally.
Yeah. So, it's a little bit of time since the European Championships. Have you had time to reflect on your win there and your performance in the heat and the final?
Of course, yeah. We actually had like video analysis. I think everybody does that. The thing is that after my comeback, well, of course, I had to do the seat racing to get my spot in the double again. But the double we have now, I mean, me and Donella, we're more mature and this double goes very well. And we were very confident for the Europeans in our boat, which we saw, and like we saw at the Europeans. The final was incredibly awesome for us. Yeah, but we did two very good races. We missed it. I missed the competition. It was like 2 years almost since I didn't have that feeling. So it was I was very grateful just for being there, except the medal and except for everything. I was very grateful for being there and being able to row again among the best in the world. But yeah, I mean, we wanted this gold medal at Europeans for 8 years, I think.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I mean, we won the World Championships 2 years in a row, and every year we got the fourth place at Europeans and the first at the World Championships, and the next year again. And we were like, okay, what happens at Europeans? Why can't we just do it there as well? So this year, actually, yeah, it was finally we did it also at Europeans.
Yeah. You beat the Italians by a long way in the heat, I think, in the Europeans. And then the lanes were obviously you won the good lane with your heat result, and then the lanes were kind of the conditions were difficult. They were kind of advantaged on the far side and difficult on the near side. What did you think of the conditions and the regatta? Had you been to Szeged before?
No, it was my first time in Szeged. Well, yeah, it wasn't fair for a lot of competitors. I mean, the lanes. But the thing is that, and we always tell this to ourselves, this is rowing. I mean, we have to expect to have unfair conditions. We were supposed to be on the first lane. I mean, the furthest one, but they changed us on the sixth one, on the near to the grandstand, and the wind changed again. So we weren't actually on the favorite one, but we did a very good race, and it didn't matter at the end. I mean, it was just
yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the competition in your event, because it seems to me from last year, I don't know what you thought about the Olympic silver medalist from France and the gold medalist from Italy not even qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, rowing is like this. I mean, one year you're on top of it, and the next year because the competition is very hard. I mean, especially at the lightweights, you know, that we all saw that, like in the lightweights there, it's very rare when the same crew win several times in a row, especially in the lightweights, because the value, and yeah, it's so even, it's like the same. So it's a bit, I mean, it's hard to know that a boat is okay, they're the best. So this couple of years, the GB team, they were they did they did it for like several times in a row. But it's very hard in rowing to just win several times, because the wind changes and maybe the crew changes. So I think the Italian crew, they had some health problems. I think the bow, she had some injuries. I think rib fracture, and that's an issue, and maybe that's a big reason why they didn't qualify. But I saw there's two boats that they're very strong, so they can just like find the best crew to go for qualifications. I don't know about France, but I know they're like very, very strong girls, and I'm sure they will come back strong. But I honestly, this can happen to anyone, also for us. I mean, we were expecting for a medal in Tokyo, but that didn't happen. It wasn't easy for us to just keep like going on, but I mean, this is sport. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You just have to keep going if you really want to. So that's also one reason why I put a stop. I mean, I stopped with rowing last year. I thought that it's not for me
Oh, really?
anymore.
When did you decide to do that, Gianina?
So actually, it's 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, right after the Europeans. So I switched from lightweight to the heavies for after the Olympics,
Yeah.
and I got as a spare. I went as a spare at the European Championships, and then I rode for I think a month more, and then I wanted to take a break because I had some health problems as well.
Mm.
I was in a bit of a burnout
Yeah.
because I had some tough moments after the Olympics, also in personal life. So I decided to take a step back. But the thing is that I also felt that I didn't finish my work in rowing. So after 1 year, I think 9 months, I decided to come back. So this month is actually 1 year since I came back.
Oh, wow. So that's really interesting. So how challenging, how difficult is it for you to be a lightweight, to make the weight all the time?
It's not that difficult because I'm used to it. I mean, in the first couple of years when I decided to be a lightweight, it was more difficult because I didn't have the experience uh, uh, of like what lightweight is supposed to be. But now it's very easy because I can control my weight more easily, my cravings more easily because yeah, that's the main issue. It's not the training that's hard. It's like stop you from eating like what
Yeah.
you want sweeter. So, but now me and Ionela, we don't struggle, even if
Oh,
we're
that,
the tallest. I think we're the tallest lightweights. I don't know if there's any lightweight taller than us. So you can see that maybe we could struggle, but we just built that way. I tried for 7 years to gain weight to be a heavy, and I couldn't. So we
oh,
decided, okay,
really?
let's try it. Yeah, I was eating like a lot, but I couldn't gain weight. So
Okay.
yeah,
So does that mean that you don't eat things like ice cream or cake, or you can eat those
no,
things but
we
carefully?
do. Yeah, we do
Right.
carefully, but okay for our weight, of course, but also because we know it's not that good for our health, firstly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so but we can eat everything because the training schedule allows us to eat a lot because we train a lot. So we train, I think, 6 hours a day. Yeah, so in the morning, six
Wow.
hours a day, which is it allows us to eat everything we can eat. Well, we have to be more careful around the competitions the week before or like
Hmm.
a month before because the training intensity or the volume just it decreases. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
So
usually it's fine.
so I know we talked about I can't remember if it was Rodini or Cesarini that had the rib issues, but I think injury
Rodinia.
is yeah, Rodini is part of athletes have to deal with being injured. How has
Exactly.
your career been with injuries?
Well, I have a lot of injuries in my CV. So I I also had rib problems. During Tokyo Olympics, I had rib problems. It wasn't broken, but it was a bit like um, I had
Sure.
very tense. Yeah, it was sore. Um, so I was, yeah, I know what the rib pain means, but I also have a knee surgery right
No.
after Plovdiv. Yeah, so right after Plovdiv, after the World Championships in Plovdiv, I don't know if you remember in the final, I was having this skinny like tape on my knee, which was
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
flag colors. Well, I could barely walk.
Oh, you're
uh,
kidding.
s- yeah, no, I'm not kidding. Yeah, so I could barely walk. So they had to pick me from the hotel to the training, the course in a car because I honestly could barely walk. But the good part was that in the boat I couldn't feel the pain. So
No,
it was,
really?
yeah, yeah. So we had the final I forgot. So we had the final in Plovdiv, and the next week on Thursday I went in Austria and got the knee surgery. So yeah, the same week
Oh,
basically.
wow.
Yeah, because I was struggling with the knee pain for 1 year, and we
Yeah.
tried to treat it and not get the surgery, but eventually I had to do the surgery. Yeah, so but it took me 2 months to recover completely.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So I think that's, yeah, so I have the knee surgery and the rib cage pain. But I'm sure most of the athletes have health problems.
Yeah, I'm sure you're
We
right.
also have I also have colleagues that have hernias, which is
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
painful sometimes.
yeah. Um, one of the things I wanted to ask you, so we'll talk about the training a little bit, but when I was doing some research on where the Romanian athletes came from, I found an awful lot came from the northeast near
Yeah.
Moldova. And I'm thinking, okay, does Giannina come from that area? And then I'm thinking, why do so many come from that particular area in Romania?
Yeah, I also come from the north part. We don't have an answer, but maybe it's the food, maybe I don't know, it's just we're the tallest people probably in the country on that side, but
Yeah,
also it's the mentality. Um, and it's, I mean, look, for example, for kayak and canoe,
yeah.
most of the people are from the south.
Really?
Yeah, like Danube and like Bucharest and this side of the country. But for rowing, it's on that side, and maybe it started there and then it formed like a tradition there. So maybe those people know more
Ah,
about rowing because, oh, I have a friend
yeah,
in my city which he rowed. But yeah, I just and the quality of people there. But I think it's also, yeah, for me it was just because I was tall, and most of the coaches, they know that on that area they found in the past good rowers. So maybe they
yeah,
just searched more there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah, it's that we don't have an answer, but we find like good quality people there that are
Mm.
fit for rowing.
So, when you were found, did a coach say, Janina, you could be a great rower, and you said, yes, please, I'll go? Was it like that, or did it happen differently?
Well, no, something like that. Yeah, so I was actually, yeah, in math, yeah, I was in the school, and one coach came to the sports professor because they knew each other. And my teacher was like, okay, I have a tall girl. She's the tallest in the school. Maybe you can take a look at her because in the beginning, they first look at our height.
Yeah,
And then they present to us, okay, this is rowing, this is how you do it. Because I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, even if we had this good big tradition of rowing in Romania, we didn't know about rowing that much. Like it
yeah,
wasn't, especially in the villages, we didn't know about it. So they were like, okay, this is rowing. You may have a chance. You may, I mean, they didn't tell us, okay, you're gonna be a great champion. We were 13 years old. I mean,
mm,
but they were like, this is a good chance for you to develop and like to go to a
mm.
better school. And actually, that was my main reason I
Really?
chose rowing. Yeah, yeah, just to go to a better school. And this happened, for example, I mean, this was the reality. It happened on a Monday. On Thursday, I went with my mom to the training center in a different city because we don't have that many rowing centers in Romania.
Yeah,
Um, and on Thursday, I went with my mom to see what rowing is. And
yeah.
on Sunday, I had my luggages in the training center. I already chose to do it because they present rowing as a game to us. It's like there's like so
Okay.
many kids here, and
Yeah,
It's like a play because we were kids. And that was it. I just left home
You
at
left
13.
home at
Yeah,
13, but that's very, very interesting. How
yeah.
did you cope? Were you not homesick?
Well, sometimes, but my mom, I mean, my parents divorced when I was 1 year old, so I lived
Okay.
with my mom.
Yeah.
So she wasn't at home that often because she had to work. So I already didn't see my mom that much.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard. I was just like, okay, I'm living too. But I used to go home to visit her once in 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
in two
Yeah.
weeks. It wasn't easy, but I got used to it. So
Okay. And how long before you found out that you might be good at it?
it's uh well, not that long because I was the skinniest. Um,
Ah,
but yeah, so when you're the skinniest, like the coaches first, they look at the one that looks stronger, right?
yeah.
But I was training more than everybody. So I was like doing extra training. I was finishing with school, and at 8 p.m. I was doing and do another set of training.
Really?
And that made me stronger faster than the other ones.
Yeah.
So when I started to be like on top, I started to like it more and more in the competition. And
Yeah.
I think in a few months, yeah, a couple of months. But for I had to wait for 1 year until I got to learn how to row in a boat because I started on November, and in the winter you couldn't row. So I had to train in the gym a lot before I get a chance to go in the boat.
Okay.
But it didn't matter. I really enjoyed the competition.
Yeah. 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 Um, so, um, so, when did your partner, Yanela, start? Was she beginning at a similar time to you?
She started 1 year after me,
Yeah.
but I started at a club in the north of Romania, and she started in the southwest of Romania, like
Oh,
Orshova. It's like close
yeah.
to Danube River.
Yeah.
And so we're actually from different sport club.
Ah,
We were competition for our entire junior time. But then we started to row in a double in 2015 after her both mate retired. They were from the same club, so the other girl, she retired, and
mm,
we were three girls in the lightweight. For now, we're just three girls in the lightweight uh,
yeah.
group in Romania, and at that time we were the same number. So she started 1 year after me, but she's also very talented, and she got it very quick, and she was one of the best of her clubs. But she also couldn't gain weight, so okay, she decided to go
Oh,
light.
wow.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the chemistry between you because it must be quite exceptional because you've rowed together for so long.
Yeah, as I said before, we started rowing together in 2015. Um, we were very young, and we actually had to build this double from the scratch. We were kids. Yeah, we were young, and now the chemistry between us, compared to a few like in 2015, is different. Now we're more mature. We were the the thing that made us such a good double is that we both want to be the best. We both don't need to be pushed to train.
Yeah, yeah,
And we just made a good team because we want to be the best, and that was like the common purpose. We had our fights, of course, before we were young. Of course, we were young, and we were in the same double for, I don't know, from 2015 to 2021, the same double. We didn't switch to any other boat. So imagine it's like in a marriage, right? And we
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
before she got married in 2007, 17, we were sharing the same room as well. So being in the boat with the same person and then in the room with the same person, it's impossible to not have fights with. But when we were in the boat, we just left the fights in the room, and then we managed to do like a great team. But now we're different. We're more mature, as I said, and we know what we're here for, and we know what we fight and train for. So this is just, it's another chemistry. It's a
Yeah,
more like
yeah.
chilled chemistry.
That's really interesting. So, are you both extrovert, or is Ilona an introvert, or what's her personality in compared to
I
yours?
think we're more alike than we thought we were.
Yeah.
So that I don't think any of us. I think both of us are extroverts, but we
Mm,
also want our self moments. So she's also an extrovert. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I consider myself an extrovert. Yeah. No, she's an amazing person. She's such a hardworking person, and she's a great. I think she's, and I told her, and I told to many people, she's the best both partner I could ever have.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I couldn't do. I mean, I'm sure I couldn't do the same results. Couldn't have the same results without her, but neither to stay in the same boat with another person for so long. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, with that competitiveness that you spoke about, that both of you had, I'm wondering, is that genetic for you? Or were you both sort of born with that, or has that come about because you're in the Romanian system and it's brought that competitiveness out of you?
I think it's a bit from everything you said. I think about myself that I was born with competitiveness. Also, also her. I think she's the same. But also the system makes you be like this.
Mm,
And the sport. I think the sport in general just makes you to the best survives.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I also think the system and the families and the maybe the struggles we had to. Uh, uh, I don't know, we had in the past as a kids, because I told you one of the main reasons I started rowing was to go to a better school,
Yes.
because we couldn't afford to go a better school, because in Romania rowing pays for your school, for your commodities, for
Yeah.
yeah. So that was a very good like reason for me to start rowing. So maybe that also made me more competitive, because
Mm,
if I chose this, I have to be better to just like keep going forward and to be in the national team. And how am I going to
yeah.
be in the national team if I'm not going to be among the best? So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this also made
Um,
me.
so, how come your English is so amazing?
Thank you. Well, I don't know. I mean, I learned it from school, but also I have, because of my family and my husband, we have a lot of friends from like mm, other countries. Um, so this helps because I talk a lot. I mean, I speak a lot in English, but I don't know. I just like to uh, teach myself,
Mm,
and I believe that English is. So, I mean, it should be our second language. And us Romanians in general, we do speak English because we learn it in school from the third grade, I think. But I also exercised
ah,
it a lot, and I started to learn more English by myself by reading books, like easy books in English. This was when I was in high school. Yeah,
okay.
so yeah. And now I'm actually trying to learn Dutch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, I have to.
So your husband Jan is Dutch, and there's a fantastic story in your family. Maybe you could tell us how you met and the story behind with Jan's parents.
Of course, yeah. So, but just to make a to tell you something, you have the same. This is such a coincidence. You have the same medals at the Olympics as my mother-in-law. So in 1980, and that was like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, in
That's crazy.
1980 in Moscow, I think, right?
Moscow. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
both got the bronze medal, and in
Yes.
84 you got
84, we
gold
both got
medal.
the gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
That was yeah. So how did I meet Jan? Well, I first knew his parents before I got to know him because
Oh,
I mean Valeria, she's one of the best rowers here, and we have. So I went to their house. We met. But I never met Jan. So I met Jan on Instagram, like
oh, you're
the
kidding.
youngster do. The youngster do. Yeah, but we started talking, but I didn't know it's Valeria's and Steven's son. We just started talking, and after I think I don't know a month, I realized and I connected the dots that he's their son, which
Oh,
was like yeah. So it wasn't actually through rowing, but I think he knew I mean he knew I am a rower, but he didn't say okay, you know who I am. I'm the son of, and he didn't say that. Yeah, and that was how we started dating. And it's an amazing family. I mean, when I came back, when I decided to come back, they supported me immediately. They were like, because I decided to came back last year with 2 months before our civil wedding. With two
oh,
weeks,
wow.
sorry, with 2 weeks. So I had to, I mean, he had to take care of everything because I decided to go back to the training center. But they
No, you
supported me.
didn't.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about
I
that.
was working in the, so I was working for, after I quit, after 2 months, I worked at the NOC here in
Yeah,
Romania
yeah, yeah.
for 2 months. And then I got a job offer at the Romania Rowing Federation, and I got it. I think I worked there for 2 or 3 months, and I was once in the office right when last year, the week with the European Championships. I was at the office this month actually on
Hmm.
20. And then this thought popped my mind, and I was like, okay, what if I just go back for one more year for Paris, because I knew I knew that I still have some uh,
Unfinished
things
business.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And first thing I did, I called my husband, and I was like, my husband from now, he was my fiance back then. And okay, what do you think if I'm going back to rowing? And he was like, are you joking or no? And I'm not joking. Well, darling, this is the best idea you have, because firstly, he knew that I still have it in my, like, it was still bothering me. And he supported me immediately. And then I called my mother-in-law, Valeria, and she was like, this is the best idea you could have. Of
Oh,
course. Yeah, yeah, we talked a lot about rowing. So my husband was was joking. So he also was a rower, but just for 2 years in the
yes.
uni. So he did. His brother was a rower in the Olympic team for the Netherlands.
Oh,
So Simon van Groningen. It was Simon.
yes.
He was yeah, he was, but he quit also like after 7 years. So our dinners looked like this for I mean, even also now, because I started rowing again, our dinners is like me and us and the parents, the four of us, and me and the parents talking about rowing a lot. And my husband is like, okay, okay, are you finished yet? Yeah, it's so nice. So
So just 2 weeks before your civil wedding.
2 weeks, yes.
And then,
And I let
yes.
him take care of everything, and I just followed my passion.
Yeah, he's very understanding then.
Yeah, yeah. I was so lucky to have him and like to support me, and he supports me in everything. I told you they already got the Paris tickets before I got mine, so
That's
they're a big,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. So what did
It's
Antonio? Sorry,
no, sorry.
what did
You go.
Antonio Colomanici say when you told him you were coming back?
So he first said that's a very good idea because we didn't have a lightweight double anymore. It was just Ionela and then
Yeah.
Dumitru, which won last year
Yeah.
the silver. But at that time they weren't in the double. So he said that it's a very good idea, but it's gonna be
Yeah.
hard. That's what he
Ah.
said. So, but it's gonna be hard because you have to like train a lot in the boat. So, and I was like, yeah, but if I chose to do this, if I'm choosing to do this, I'm all in. I'm gonna come and stay in the training center. I'm not asking you to like train remotely and like to just come back and
Mm.
forth from my house. And he was like, okay, then it's great news. Yeah. So he was happy about, everybody was happy about it because it was another chance for like
Yeah.
a
How
good boat for Romania.
hard was it? Was he right that it was hard for you to come back?
It wasn't that hard because I didn't stop sporting. I mean, even when I stopped rowing, I still did a lot of sport. But no, I think so. Last year I competed in the single, the lightweight single,
Yeah.
but just to have the
What
feeling again, to feeling of
What happened in
competition.
the final?
Oh, so except that it was a terrible win, but it was for everybody. Um, Last year, so 2 months, I only trained for 2 months from Mike came back to
No.
the world champ. Yeah, it was just 2 months. But the thing is that I had another episode of rib pain, so I
Oh.
couldn't train my upper body that much. And
Yeah.
that wind just killed me. Like my legs were strong, but my upper body wasn't strong.
Mm.
So that wind just made it terrible for me. Yeah, but it was an experience. I was very grateful just to being able to compete
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
wasn't sure I could compete. So that was just
Yeah. So in the autumn and the winter, are you doing most of the work in singles, or are you with Yanela together in the double?
oh, for the past 3 years, we trained in the singles during winter, singles and pairs for
Mm.
the rows. But before that, we were training also in the double. But I think the singles call it's a very good idea for all of us. So yeah, we train in the single until February this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
from November to February. So a lot of single.
Yeah. And then when you train in the double, who do you train with? Do you work with Simone and Ancuta,
Yeah.
or
So we are training both doubles together with the same coach. So it's Antonio Colamonici, who's the head coach, and then
yeah,
each type of boat has different coaches, and we train with the same coach, Atome Ciprian. So yeah, we race each other every day,
oh, so how
and
is that?
sometimes with the women's pair. It's good. I mean, we like it. It's competition. So actually, at in the final at Europeans, I told Jonella right when we were at the start line. I told, okay, let's imagine that we're with Simona and Akuta and with the pair. And she was like, I was thinking about the same thing. Yeah, because this is what we're used to, and it doesn't make us nervous. So we
Yeah.
were like, yeah, let's imagine.
Oh,
It's
that's
very
good.
good. We have competition. They have competition because we're kind of have the same speed during trainings. So it helps both of the doubles to uh, push above the
Yeah.
pain. Yeah.
And so tell me about the training you do. Like, how much of it is intense at a high level, or how much is very low intensity? Because I think
Yeah.
maybe the team from the Netherlands, they do a lot of training at very low intensity, long kilometers.
Yeah.
So what is your training like?
So it depends on the seasons, of course.
Hmm.
So during winter season, we have low intensity and more kilometers.
Yeah.
But then it depends on when are the Europeans or like the first competition. So mostly starting from February or March, we start having higher intensities. So basically our week looks like this. So we have one day of lower intensity and steady state and like more
Hmm.
kilometers, and the next day we have intensities like shorter distances, and you just keep doing this. One day it's once in
Okay.
2 days you have intensities, but also the stroke rate depends also for the intensities. Sometimes
Yeah.
we have sometimes we have 4 times 1 kilometer at maximum, which is I don't
Yeah.
know 40 stroke per minute, and like after 2 days we have 4 times 2 kilometers, but it's at 30 stroke per minute. So
Yeah. 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 So,
yeah.
one thing that enjoyable to watch when the Romanian crews race is they're very high on the rating.
Yeah, and we're the highest rater. Yeah,
So
yes.
how does that happen?
We also, I don't know. We also have this is what we're doing during our trainings. So the trainings allow us the training program allow us to have higher ratings. Also because our low intensity is still
Mm.
at 2022
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
rating. So maybe this allows us to do it. But also a thing that Antonio changed in the Romanian rowing system, is that he looks more to be efficient in the
yeah.
in the boat. So our weight is also controlled also for the heavy weights. Like yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
you yeah it's useful. It's not useful to carry that weight in the boat. So that's why maybe this also allows us to have the higher rates. So yeah, I think this is one aspect that
that's really
gives us
interesting.
the yeah. Because
Yeah,
before that, like before Antonio came, it was like to be heavy for the heavy, so to be
yeah,
heavy,
yeah,
and especially in the eight. But now also the women's eight, they have to be lean and like to be more efficient, don't carry that
yeah.
weight.
I'm sure
So I don't
that's
know if
right.
this apply. I don't know if this applies. I mean, probably this applies for many countries, but this
Mm,
is one aspect that we had to change in the Romanian rowing system.
yeah. That's really interesting. One thing I thought I'd ask you, I was very surprised. I think a lot of people were surprised that Simona and Ancuta um, didn't win the gold medal in the Europeans. And
Yeah,
yeah, and it was hard to explain that because every time they've raced, they have been. I think the last time they lost was in 2019 in the final of the World Championships. Um, and I know the course was difficult and things like that. How surprised were they?
well, I got a chance to talk with them at the airport before we came to Bucharest. They were I mean, they weren't sad about the result. Of course, it's painful,
Mm,
but uh, they also told Romanian reporters that why they don't talk about their 26 wins in a row, why they talk about the 27th, because this is already like a very good legacy for their
yeah,
double. And we should, because this is sport. Sometimes you sometimes lose, and when you're on the top, everybody's watching you and everybody's targeting you.
mm,
So it happened. I mean, they said that the heats weren't good for them. They didn't do a good race, but not
yeah,
because they didn't feel physically good. They just couldn't, I mean, connect to each other. So it was like
yeah,
they
yeah,
were racing. Sometimes you sometimes race against your
yeah.
partner, and this is yeah. So maybe that was what it was. But I'm sure they will come back, because in Romania, I mean, before the championship, they had a very good training, like, progress. But maybe this was the problem. They couldn't find themselves in the boat,
Yeah.
which can happen to anyone, even to the most experienced
Yeah, yeah,
athletes.
yeah, yeah. I want to talk to you because you've been rowing a long time, but in 2017, you won the under 23s and then you won the world championship title. And that's very unusual. I kind of want to say it's very rare that a crew would do that in the same year. I mean, what was going on for you guys back then?
So yeah, I don't know. That was our year, I think. But it was a very strange year, because I mean, our coach back then, he wanted for us to not go to the under 23 European Championships, because it was very close to Sarasota, the World
Yeah,
Championship. And they were like, okay, you should choose which one do you want. And then another, like, people from, like, that, I mean, that could decide for us, they said that, okay, but we want for you to go to the under 23 Europeans, because I don't think you have the chance to get into the final at the World Championships. You're still under 23. And we were like, no, we want both of them. And I think that was and I think that was what driven us to what helped us to win both of them. We were also young and crazy, and we didn't realize what we did at the World Championships, but we felt very good at that championship, and maybe that helped. And also, being young, probably, I told you, we didn't realize. We just went there and gave our best, and it happened to be gold for us.
yeah. What difference did that make to your life? With it being a world champion in Romania, did that make like did you get a lot of publicity? Did you get more funding from the government? What difference did it make?
So first, and what was more important, it was that it gave us confidence in ourselves,
Uh-huh.
and in our boat, and it actually made us realize, okay, maybe we're good, because a year prior we went to the Olympics, in Rio, where we came on 8th place.
Yeah.
So that win next year just made us very confident in this double, and it helped us train more hard and, like, harder, and thinking about having a chance for the next Olympics. But yeah, also we got more publicity, and people were looking a bit different at us. And yeah, it helped us. But I told you, we were still young. We didn't realize at that moment what we did, except for the next year, in which we repeated the results. But also, so we got a bit of, like, publicity, and it helped us, but also put a lot of pressure on us. So
Okay.
we were, yeah.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
it wasn't pressure directly, but okay, they're world champions, and we are world champions. Okay, now we have to work harder. Or what can we change? So that put more anxiety on our shoulders, because we were also young, and maybe we couldn't realize, okay, what is the media saying? What should I take from that paper? What should I don't have to take? But yeah, it didn't. I mean, now it doesn't matter, because now we look differently at it. So, for example,
Yeah.
even when someone comes to you as an athlete, even when someone comes to you and, okay, you're gonna win the win medal. We trust you. We know you're the best. Sometimes that put pressure on you, because, okay, let's wait until I have the race. I get the medal, right? And then let's be happy. Yeah. So next year, because the year we won the first world championship, we came on 4th at Europeans. The next year, I told you, we repeated the same results at Europeans, and they already were like, okay, but you're gonna win the world championships, because this happened the last year.
Oh.
Yeah, but that just And that just it puts pressure on you because we have to win the world championship. But we learn from everything.
So you mentioned about Rio there, and I think you had to qualify to get to Rio, didn't you?
We had to qualify in Lucerne.
In Lucerne, how was that for you?
It was us and the Dutch crew that qualified there.
Oh yeah,
remember Ilse and Marike?
And Marike, yeah. And you finished second to them, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. Well, it was. I told you we were young. We didn't realize we were very happy with the qualification. We were the youngest crew, I think, in Romania that went to the Olympics. So we just went with the flow.
Yeah.
We tried to do our best, which we did, and we had to learn a lot of from from Rio. And I told you it helped us build confidence for the next years.
How much? So I know in your semi-final, you couldn't beat China, who were the third crew. But did you have a good Olympics? Did you stay afterwards and for the second week? What was it like for you?
So we had our tickets for to come back were already bought. So we had to stay for 2 weeks more in Rio. And we had the nationals championships right after Rio, and we didn't have any break in Rio. We had to train for the nationals. Well, not as hard as for the Olympics, but we still had to do some training in Rio. But we were very happy about the results because I told you no one expected. Everyone hoped that we could qualify and go there, but no one actually expected, neither us. So just being there was a very good result for us. It was a start point for us for the next years. And we really enjoyed it. Yeah, we enjoyed it. We did our best. I didn't know, so we couldn't beat China in the semifinals, and they actually caught a crab in the finish.
No.
And Ionela was shouting like, "Okay, come on!" But I didn't see they caught a crab, and we did our best in the finish. But maybe I knew that they caught a crab. Maybe we could do more. But that was a chance we missed.
Yeah. So we were talking about your second World Championship win, that where you came fourth in the Europeans. So it was very fast conditions in Plovdiv. I think for the finals day. How surprised were you that you won your second world title?
Well, not surprised. I mean, we wanted that title. We knew that we were prepared for it. And actually, in Plovdiv, I felt better than a year before in Sarasota. Okay. And our races before the final, so the heats and the semifinals were even better. And they showed us that we are among the best, so we could potentially win. And that gave us confidence. And just seeing us in front of every other crew in the final, because we won with a bigger distance than a year before, just made it the easiest race I had. Honestly, wow. Because when you're in front, you control everything differently, and you don't feel the pain that much. So I always say that when you're behind, you just want that the race, the distance doesn't finish.
Yeah.
So you have time to just catch up. And when you're in front, you just want for it to finish faster. Like, okay, can we just stop it here? It was the best and the easiest race I had. Also here in Hungary, I felt it. The Europeans, I felt it also an easy race, but it was also because we were in front and you can control everything differently. But in Plovdiv in 2017, I had my knee pain, so that was a bit of a struggle for me to just to compete. but we managed to go through it. So
you've talked about how important confidence is to both you and Yanela. So I'm wondering how you dealt with a fourth place in 2019, and I know margins are very small, and a sixth place, and I know that race was ridiculous because everybody was like in one length of each other or less than that. How did you deal with that?
I think we also can learn a lot from our luck. I mean, from when you don't win. So it's not easy, but this is what sport it is. So we just there's nothing you can do afterwards. I mean, you are sad for 1 or 2 days, but then you just like shake it off and just move forward for it. It happens to anyone, and we used to say before we got the wins at the Worlds that we have more accreditations than medals. So we kind of laughed about it. It wasn't like an honest laugh, but we had to joke about it, and we just had to shake it off and move forward. It's life. I mean, even in not only in sport, you sometimes lose. There's nothing you can do. But the most difficult championship was the Olympics in Tokyo.
Okay.
Which all the final came within 1.8 seconds, and we were on the 6th place. That was a bit more painful for us. But yeah, there's nothing you can do after.
Yeah. It was so strange. I mean, the number of tests that people there had to have, and every day, and not being able to have crowds there. It was just very strange, weird.
Yeah, it was a very strange Olympics edition. But I mean, in rowing, most of the times it's not such a big crowd anyways, or it's just at the finish line, which us as athletes, you don't get to experience it as like in tennis or I don't know, any other sport. So we're kind of used to it. But for me, this year was the first year actually my family came here, and I have all this support live and being there. So for me, actually, these Europeans this year were more special because I had my supporters there. But yeah, in Tokyo was a bit strange. We didn't see anything rather than the Olympic Village and the course, the venue. Well, we took it as it was, right? And I was grateful just for being there, and just because the Olympics finally got to like be there, because they were postponed 1 year, and we were very uncertain about actually being any Olympics at all. So just being there and getting the chance to compete, it was good for us.
Yeah. There were so many Romanian flags in the grandstand in Szeged. It was like it was like crazy. I think there were more Romanian flags than any other.
Yeah, well, we're basically neighbors, and it was so actually you drive for 1 hour and you're in Romania. So it would have been a pity not to come. It's a very good feeling when you have supporters, because usually we got to see the other flags and not Romanians one at championships, and now just having so many supporters there, it was a motivation. But I also just thought about it that my family is in the grandstand only when I was in the finish area, not because I try not to think about it when I'm at the start line, because it just makes me more nervous. But it's a unique feeling to know that you have supporters there at the grandstand waiting for you to be on the podium.
Now, how's the season up to the Olympics looking for you? What's the next race that you're planning?
So we basically we are in a straight line until the Olympics, but we go to Poznan, which is the third World Cup. I don't know. We don't know yet if we are still going to try to qualify the single sculls. We don't have.
Yeah.
We may try to qualify these boats in Lucerne. We're not sure. Maybe we're going to have a meeting for the next period next week. But we're going to Poznan, the Olympic team, and then the Olympics. It's just 2 months in a bit.
So I'm thinking, so the first time that you get to race the British double, because they're going to be in Lucerne, but they won't be in Poznan, will be in Paris.
Yeah. And I talked with Imogen a bit after the final in Hungary. And we're not gonna compete. So they will. So you know that Emily didn't get the chance to compete at Europeans, and we actually don't get to race each other against each other until Paris. Yeah, which is a bit. It's interesting because we wanted for them to be able to race, of course. But yeah, they will meet in Paris.
Yeah. I don't know how to ask this, but is your target to win the Olympics? Is it a gold medal or is it a different target? I mean, sometimes
the first target is to enjoy the journey and the process and just being there. But of course, I mean, this is what every athlete hopes for and trains for. We think we have a chance to, but we also think that everyone has a chance to win that medal. So you can't say in advance. You just I just try to do my best, and me and Dionela, we try to do our best to have the highest chance to win that medal, but we never know. So because as I wish to win the gold medal, also the other crews want to. So it doesn't depend only on us. So
and will you go? Will you do training camp in Romania and then go straight to Paris, or will you do training camp in France somewhere?
No, we're gonna stay in Romania. We're gonna. I think we'll fly 2 weeks in advance or 1 week in advance. I think 1 week in advance, and we're not gonna stay in the Olympic Village. We're gonna stay somewhere near the venue because it's a bit too far from the Olympic Village to the venue. So no, it's just gonna be Snagov, Bucharest, and Paris.
Yeah. So that'll be your third Olympics, or this will be your third Olympics.
Yes.
So you are kind of like a veteran of the Olympics.
Yes, it's going to be the third one, and I'm certain it's going to be the last one.
Are you? Oh, okay.
Probably, yeah. But you never say never, because this is what I said. I said that I'm not going to come back to rowing last time, and here I am.
You and Steve Redgrave.
Yes, is the third one. Hopefully it's going to be a more shiny one. We're going to do our best.
Yeah. And so what about so it's difficult to talk about plans in terms of in terms of work or family or anything like that. Is it like I'm only thinking up to the Olympics and then I will think afterwards?
Well, I'm also thinking afterwards, but not too often, because my main priority now is the Olympics.
Yeah.
And my family's main priority now is the Olympics. So my husband is like, yes, so we're planning to go on vacation because we didn't actually have our honeymoon. We went, we went for 1 week in Sicily last week, but it wasn't actually a honeymoon. So we're planning to have one now. But he's taking care more of it. So because I'm just like thinking about the Olympics, and from time to time, okay, what do I want to do afterwards? But not that often, not that much. I still didn't quit my job at the Romanian Federation. I just suspended my contract for 1 year, just being able to row again. So I'm thinking to go back. I'm also like finishing my master's because during COVID, before the Olympics in Tokyo, I was planning to try to get into Oxford University, and I was studying for that very hard. But then the Olympics got postponed for 1 year, and the plans canceled. So I didn't do my master's here at that time. So now I'm finishing it.
What are
Yeah,
you
that was
doing your
another.
master's in?
Well, sports and physical education,
Okay.
because here it's very hard to study something else while you're an athlete. But afterwards, I want to do something else. Haven't decided yet what already. But now I'm planning to finish my studies this year and the Olympics, and then maybe going back to work at the federation, and also maybe in the like next couple of years starting a family, or like increasing the number of the family members. But that's that's just a thought.
And it's almost certain that any family you do have will be rowers.
Well, probably. My husband is really scared if we're gonna have a girl, because he's 2.2 meters tall. So he's like, yeah, we're a tall family. But yeah, of course they're gonna learn how to row. Everybody in this family, rowed for at least 2 years. I did it for 16. So of course, but we'll see. That's in the future.
Now, I know you talk a lot about rowing, so I know we've been talking for more than an hour, but just when you guys talk about rowing, what's your favorite race that you talk about?
My race or
any race?
Any other? Well, we talked about a lot about Valeria's race when she won the gold medal.
Yeah, what does she
84.
say about that?
I mean, she's a bit more introvert than I am, and she doesn't like to brag, but we brag. I mean, we just talk about her a lot, and she was like, no, that wasn't that big. That was in the past. And we were like, yeah, but you're an Olympic champion.
Yeah.
And they have in the hallway, they have a wooden oar with all their medals, and they have a lot
hanging on the medals.
Yes. Yeah. And the first one is her Olympic gold, and every time I just go upstairs, I just take a look at it and like, okay, I want one for myself.
Wow.
We talk about a lot about her race, but now we talk about more like the more recent ones, and which is the European final. But we also talk about like the past and how it was for them, and what the difference is between rowing back then and the one rowing now. Which is nice because they understand me and they know what I'm talking about without explaining them that much, which is it's easy for me to just come home from a bad day and like hard day, and this happened and they understand me.
Yeah. Well, Gianina, I hope you and Yanela have a fantastic training block up to the Olympics, and I hope the Games produces what you wish for.
Thank you very much. We're going to do our best to to be there. Yeah.
So we'll end the live part of this interview now. Gianina, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.